Welcome back to Pillow Talk. This is Kevin Fear, president of Mattress Express. If you're listening to me in a market where you're not familiar with Mattress Express yet, you will be. You are just a short drive away, and believe me, your friends and neighbors are driving up because we have one of the most innovative lineups of bedding in the industry. Go to mattressexpressny.com or call 1-800-NEW-BEDS during business hours. You can always email me with questions, compliments, criticisms, I suppose, at pillowtalkquestion@gmail.com. This is a talk where we talk about sleep. Sleep affects everything you do in life. It affects your health. It affects your mental outlook. It affects relationships, how you drive. We talk about bedding. We talk about sleep. We talk about CPAPs. May come as a tremendous surprise to you. I am not a medical doctor. I am a serial entrepreneur, but I share with you what I've learned in the bedding industry. And if you hear my endless commercials and they drive you nuts, I'm going to give you the person to blame in just a moment. His name is Dave Paul. He's an independent rep in the bedding industry, and he is the guy who is responsible for bringing me into bedding. So if you can't stand my commercials, he's your guy. Now, many people will listen to this on the radio or they will watch the video. If they're watching the video, you'll quickly realize Dave is a Steelers fan because everything around him is the Pittsburgh Steelers. How's that working out this year, Dave?
Detrimental to my sleep.
Welcome, Dave. Today we're going to talk about, in this segment, what's in a mattress. And I thought we might start with spring systems, a topic I've covered before, but it's always fun to bring in somebody from the outside and get their perspective on it. Right now, I'm going to start out by saying there's different segments of bedding. There's different technologies, pardon me. There's the grid, which is what Purple uses. There's air, which is what the number bed uses. There's inner spring, and there's all different kinds of inner springs. There's foam, which is an all foam bed. And then there's hybrid, which is half spring and half foam. What's your take, Dave?
Well, you pretty much summed it up, Kevin. That's pretty much the area. Innerspring has the most choices of anybody because they allow different coil support systems. Right now, the new guru in bedding is the new quantum coils out there. They're great edge support, and they're an edge-to-edge coil system. So
edge-to-edge means that it runs all the way. Some beds are foam encased. If you ever sit on the edge of a bed and it collapses, that means there's nothing there. Some will put a block of foam all the way around the outer edge, which is a great bed. It's called a foam encased. Or they have edge-to-edge coils, which are grit coils that run all the way out to the edge of the bed. They typically put a stronger coil in the outside perimeter to support you. So when you get towards the edge, it doesn't feel like you're going to fall out of bed. Is that accurate, Dave?
That's very accurate. It's just new technology, Kevin. There's more and more technology coming in. The new pencil coil edges allow for a much better seating edge. A lot of people spend an awful lot of time on sitting on the end of beds playing video games. I know my kids and my grandkids know better. They're all the same.
Yeah, I tell people all the time we do a lot more in bed than just sleep.
Exactly.
Watch TV, surf the internet, gaming, eat. It's a piece of furniture in your house. It's a place where you spend 1/3 of your life. I've told people in the past, Dave, about some of the shenanigans that go on in the bedding industry. There was a time many years ago where Dave and I used to go buy a name brand mattress and cut it apart and videotape it and to see what we found. But one of the things they've done in the past, and it probably still goes on, I don't know, is the customer became savvy to coil count. Coil count became an issue when you went to buy a bed. That's how many springs are in the bed. So what some bedding companies would do is they would use a thinner gauge wire and put less turns in the coil and then have a higher coil count, which doesn't necessarily give you a better, right, Dave?
Coil count is hypothetical because the workhorse of the entire industry at one time was just a 12.5 gauge 368 unit. It was the workhorse and still is a workhorse to this day.
It has how many coils?
Just 368 in a full size set of bedding.
Right.
So, in the hotel trade, that's still the workhorse.
Yeah.
Don't let coil counts fool you.
And it's the size of the wire, the number of the turns.
There's so many things, Kevin.
And then they get into micro coils. They have springs that are about the size of a quarter, and they're probably, I don't know what, Dave, ½ inch tall, 3/4 of an inch tall, and they sew these right into pockets in the fabric. And it gives it a nice feel. It's not really a myth or anything. It's just a different way to give you a different feel.
Well, it's really more of a comfort coil than a support. And really what your beds, you're buying two things, support and comfort. That's what you're buying. Point. Okay. And that coil, which is normally, when everybody hears coil, it's always support. It's not true in that case. That small micro coil is nothing more than a comfort coil. That's all.
That's an excellent point.
You have 5,000 coils in a bed. How many are actually support coils? How many are actually comfort coils? That's all, Kevin.
One of my least favorite questions that I've shared with people on this show many times is, and I'm sure you get the same thing, Dave, is people say, what's the best mattress? It's like saying, what's the best pickup truck? If there was one best mattress, I'd have it in the middle of my store and there'd be no other beds in the store. There's no such thing.
Well, it's just like, what's the best truck? I mean, if there was one best truck out there, everybody would be driving it.
Right. It's personal preference, it's quality of build, and it's feel. Everybody likes something different. Now, I have people come in and they say, what's the firmest bed you have? We used to have one that Dave provided us called the Gibraltar, like the Rock of Gibraltar. And for me, if I laid on it, it was like laying on a sheet of plywood. It was so firm. And people would come in and lay on that and they'd say, it's not firm enough. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody likes something different. One of the biggest mistakes I think people make, Dave, you can give us your feedback on this, is they think they have to have a firm bed to have support. And they buy a firm bed and then they're uncomfortable on it. Is that your experience, Dave?
I've found people who've been advised by either chiropractors or medical people to buy the firmest mattress they can. However, by doing that, they're giving up comfort. And believe me, if your body's not comfortable, you're not sleeping. If it's cutting off your blood circulation, you're not sleeping. You're a rolling, turning dervish in that bed.
Having said that, some people are very comfortable on a super firm mattress. Just everybody is different. You know, I wanted to get into foams and stuff, but we're going to run out of time. We got just a couple of minutes left here. But so, folks, when it comes to spring systems, it's really about the quality of the mattress. It's about what type of spring system it has, who's making it, what the warranty is. Do they stand behind their warranty? There's pocket coils, which are individual coils in pockets of fabric. So they're not tied to each other. They're not tied together. They all operate independently. That's a great spring system. The 368 Dave mentioned is an old workhorse. It's, you know, if you're sleeping in a hotel, there's a good chance you're probably sleeping on a 368 coil spring. They're a heavy coil, well-built bed. There's no great answer as to what's the best. Your cheaper beds will have the old Bonnell spring systems. That was been around for 100 years, I think. And
yes,
that's an old workhorse.
And they're still here.
Yeah. When we used to go to the factories to film commercials, the spring systems, they would they stack them up, I don't know, 12 or 15 high, and they have a giant hydraulic compressor that presses them down to about 3 feet, and they wrap big metal coils around them, and that's how they ship them. That was quite interesting to watch them unpack those, and it was very dangerous. But you actually have, metal springs in your bed if you have an inner spring unit, and that's not bad. It's just different. We're going to go in another segment. We'll talk about foams and how they're made and how they're built. This is Dave Paul. He's the one you blame for listening to all my commercials in the bedding industry. I was selling cell phones, and he said, no, you need to sell beds many, many years ago. And here we are. Thanks for coming in today, Dave. We'll have you back on another time. Folks, this is Kevin Fear. This is Pillow Talk, a show about sleep. All I ask is when you're ready to invest in your next sleep system, shop my stores and give us a chance. See what we have to offer. See if we have something that you like. You can go to mattressexpressny.com to learn a little bit more about us. You can get all of our locations there. You can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS during regular business hours. And you can email me at pillowtalkquestion@gmail.com. Compliments, criticisms, just don't try to sell me anything on the email. This is Kevin Fear. We'll be right back after these short breaks. This is Pillow Talk.